I am going to provide steps on how to use the electronic reporting software to register your clients and record services provided to your community. On our website, communityservices.org, if you hit Resources, you would go to the e-reporting page. On the e-reporting page, this is information that may be new. Here is the e-reporting database live link that you would record your services for your clients. This is a paper reporting form link. So if you wanted to print out some forms at your center or church, in case your internet is down, you can have the forms in front of you and write it down, and a volunteer can enter them later into the system. If you need a username and password, you'd scroll down and you'd fill out this registration form. At the bottom of the form, you would hit Submit after you fill in the questions. Once you get your own username and password, you would come back to the e-reporting page, click on this link, and that's where you would record your information on your clients. So I am going to do a demonstration. This is a demo that anybody can use. The URL is pme.communityservices.org/demo. pme.communityservices.org/demo. So you can use this link and practice before you start putting in your information on the live database. So if you want to practice, the username is volunteer and the password is ACS123. There are no capitalizations. Sign in. So this is a test page or a demo page, and so you'll see that there will be clients here for when people start practicing. There'll be different names in here, and this is for us to just look. So if you want to search by a certain date of when clients are in, you can search from date to date. You can search by client's first name or last name or a relative. We only have 2 clients in here, so that's all you're going to see, but you could have pages and pages depending on how many clients you enter into your system. When you see the clients, you can add a relative, you can add a visit to them, you can edit the client. As you can see, this Henry has a relative, Erica, who is a wife. So that's the relationship to the client. And you can see that it has 1 relative. So this is all under the Clients tab. So if you have 100 clients in there and Susie comes in and you want to make sure that Susie already isn't entered into the system, well, you automatically come to the client page. You would type in Susie, hit enter or search, no Susie found. So you can create a new client right there. Now, if you already know Susie isn't there and you don't have to search, you go to the Settings tab. This Settings is where you create a new client or you record volunteer activity for your center. So let's start by doing a Settings and create a new client. So let's just put in Susie. Okay, Susie. We're going to say she is the second. You have options to put email address, middle name, maiden name, suffix, which we could put here too, address, contact information, anything with an asterisk the system requires. So let's just put in this. So we're making up an address here that maybe I've used for something else. The ID, there's different types of IDs. You can use the driver's license, legal residence, passport, social security, state ID, or visitor visa. We also have a category Other. Maybe the client doesn't want to give you this information. Maybe they don't have some of this. So you can choose Other. All we're asking is for the last 4 digits of any of these IDs or Other. So if you want to make it up, you can choose Other. Marital status you can choose. Education, you don't have to, but you can put this information. Race, we're going to put female since we named Susie, and date of birth. There's also monthly household income from all sources. That's an option, but it's not required. Once you have this information on your client, you scroll down and you hit submit. Okay, now see, if something's wrong, it'll give you an error code. You don't need the last 4, you just need the first 5. So hit submit again. Good job, success. Okay, so now that you said okay, it adds another little dialog box here which says add visit to a client. So Susie came in, we want to add a visit. This date automatically defaults to the day you're entering the information. But let's say Susie came in another day, so we can put October 26th. We can choose any date from previous, or if it's the day you're putting in, you can just leave it as what it is. But you want to make sure this date correlates to when Susie or your client has been seen. So you have dialog boxes under here that reflect services that you may give your clients. So community development, there's a community support event type. There's daycare, whether it was adult or child, daycare hours, job training hours, legal assistance, prepared meals, shelter, depends what shelter, or other. Maybe the shelter you have is not listed, so you can choose other. How many hours? Transportation miles. Maybe you've driven this client to a dental appointment or a pharmacy to get medication. Or you can put other assistance and type out what you've done for the client. The second one is health education. Maybe they came in for cooking classes or CPR, or first aid, fitness class, healthy lifestyle. Here again is other. Maybe it was a stop smoking or stress or weight management. Household assistance. How many articles of bedding you gave the person. Cleaning supplies, number of items. Clothing, furniture, groceries, number of pounds, home maintenance, number of hours. Maybe you help fix a leaky faucet or something. Monetary assistance, whatever, if you've given them some money, you can put it in there. Personal care kits or other. Scroll down, you get the emotional and spiritual care. Type of session, you can choose whether it was a group or individual. There's a crisis care session, end of life, grief care, visitation hours, or other. Disaster assistance. Once again, under there's bedding or cleaning supplies, clothing. Maybe you saw a whole bunch of clients due to a flood disaster. You can type the information that you did for this client in here. Diapers, maybe they had children, you gave out some diapers. Groceries, again, number of pounds, personal care kits, or other. Education assistance, group or individual. Tutoring, how many hours? Retirement planning, parenting, mentoring, financial planning, English as a second language, or other. The last one that has a title is health services. Maybe you have a professional, whether it's a dentist, a doctor, or LPN, or a nurse practitioner, physician's assistant. Maybe they're on staff part-time, maybe they're volunteering, and people come in for medical care or dental care. Maybe they had an eye exam, you could just write the descriptions here. Health screening, maybe they had a blood pressure check, you could type that in there, or other. And we gave this just in case there's something that we've missed up in these. You can type what you've done for the client and put it in this other. So notice there's a save under each of the dialog box. If you only use one of the dialog box, then you can hit save at the bottom. But if you've used more, then you can go back up to the top and save all. So let's say Susie came in for a cooking class, but you also gave her 15 pounds of groceries because she's now going to be able to go home and cook healthy meals for her family. So we've used 2 dialog boxes, so I'm going to go up here and click Save All. you get a little notice saying good job. So then you hit OK. So now if you go to clients, you now see that Susie has been put in there. You can add a relative, you can add a visit. So say Susie comes in again and she's right here, you can say, okay, I'm going to add another visit, or you can edit the client. So if I hit edit client, it says okay. Maybe this address is wrong or she's moved. So you can update it and then hit submit. And it'll say good job. Okay, so once again, adding a new client, you can create a new client by going to the settings tab. Another thing that you would do is record volunteer activities. So this volunteer activity page talks about the number of volunteers you had. So if you had 4 volunteers and they each did 3 hours, 3 times 4 is 12, and then you choose the date. So maybe it was on the 28th that you had all these volunteers that did all these hours. And I'll give you a little green check mark to say you've entered the information correctly. We also have this center information that you can choose to use or not use. If you want to keep track of expenses for salary or other expenses, income from your church, maybe a corporation grant, maybe you have a thrift store that makes money that helps with the food, you can put that there. Income from other sources or individual might give you a donation, you can type it in there and then you hit submit. So once again, you'll get a good job if you've entered the information correctly. Okay, so now we're going to go to volunteers. So when you go to the volunteers, you now see that there's 3 here. These are some of the ones that have been put in from previous, but you can see that there is 4 volunteers, 13 hours. If we had put anything in those other dialog boxes, they would show up here. You can also edit. Maybe it wasn't 13 hours. You accidentally hit an extra number or whatever. You can edit and then save it. You can export this to an Excel spreadsheet. Let's go to the visit tabs. So here we go to the visit tabs. We just put Susie in there. There's a Henry in there. If you click on the little info next to the client's name, you'll see what information was done. Cooking classes, groceries. Let's say it was 20 pounds of groceries. So you can go back, you can edit, you can change that to 20. And make sure you say save. You'll say good job. So we go back to visits, we go back to Susie, we click on the info, and now the groceries is 20 pounds. So it worked. If you accidentally put in twice on Susie, you can delete one of them. You don't want to delete, even if a client has moved away or maybe has died, you don't necessarily want to delete the information, because if you're running reports on what you did for clients between a certain date and time, you want to make sure you still gave Susie 20 pounds of food and a class. You want to keep that information even if they've moved away or passed away. Here's the report section. So the report section will have these dialog boxes that show graphs and pie charts and bars of what clients you've assisted. So this is the household assistance. So here's the bedding. If you've given clothing, groceries, if you hover over it, it'll give you a little more information. See, household assistance of 4. I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the video. It'll say 1 male, 1 female. It may not report other races. It's only reporting some of them if you keep track of that. But each of these graphs you can export to an Excel spreadsheet. And you can select by whether you want to do a report by first, quarter, second, third, fourth, or all. and your center would be listed under here. So that's it. So just to recap, clients, it'll list the 15 or 20 of the clients that you put in, but you'll get pages as you enter more and more. You can see if they have a relative. You can add a visit or edit the client. Volunteers shows how many volunteers you had on a certain date and how many hours and expenses or incomes. Visits, you can click search the client in here and then go on to info to see what Susie or Henry had done. Reports, and then remember the settings is if you want to create or record the activity. That's it. And if you have any questions, you can always call at 443-391-7254. That's 443-391-7254. Thank you.